So I'm TK. I'm the founder and CEO of Jeda.ai. What we're doing at Jeda.ai, it's a little bit different than your day-to-day, kind of like chat-based generative AI, right? So let me kind of jump into the actual product. What we do differently is like we transform ideas into visuals and create data, transform data to strategic analysis and all the other focus strategic analysis and methodologies. So this is, after you log in, this is Jeda.ai, and you can start by creating your new workspace. There are so this is a canvas. The difference between other chat-based product is like, you type, it gives you text output. Here we have three main different ways to input your prompts. One, we have this AI menu, which comes with, packed of different strategic analysis, right? For example, if you go to the marketing tab, you have marketing mix, SEO testing framework, ADA pass framework, all of those. And the second way is, entering your prompt from here. So let's say if I type hello, it's gonna reply back. It's a live demo, so nothing recorded. I hope my internet speed and connection is okay. Okay, didn't work. All right, so we're going to talk about a few different ways of creating content. We call visual GPT. So let's say I start by this particular prompt, right? For marketers, you guys are familiar with like different type of frameworks, and I do slash with analysis, right? And that's supposed to give me like a visual way of showing what it means. Okay, came back. So this is what I meant by creating content visually, and I asked Jeda.ai to give me the definition of different type of strategic analysis for marketing. So ADA, pass, drip, steps, what it means. So now you can see it it generated this definition in visual way of what it means, right? So this is one type of visual, and the other type of visuals, we have different type of commands like mind map, flowchart, wireframes, text, obviously, sticky notes, art, also data and document GPT. So I will show you in a bit what it means. And, for generating content, we have, unlike Chat GPT, you can definitely create content using GPT 2.5, GPT-4. We have also introduced Anthropic HiQ and Sonnet Claude 3. So the content I have generated is basically coming from Claude 3 HiQ. So let me show you a few other ways. I'm going to start with an example of mind map. So as soon as I've selected mind map, you can see it's suggesting me some prompts, and I can either select something, or I can just type something, right? So it gave me this type of output where I can definitely edit this. I can in place create my own content if I want to. So it's kind of like you can think it like an online whiteboard, which allows you to generate content dynamically for things like different type of strategic analysis, SWOT analysis, all the other analytics. I'm going to create another one, flowchart. So I'm just selecting one of the prompt that is suggested, building a microservice architecture flowchart. All right. So as you can see, it gave me a flowchart. I can definitely edit, type and change, duplicate some of the objects and kind of like customize the way I want. I can also, from this add-on, I can add different type of shapes and create my own. Now, let me start with an example of like a project, right? So, wellness grooming for pet. I can say, give me a sitemap for wellness grooming and pets website homepage. And that could be anything, right? You can think of like, you're working on a project, you want to create, sitemaps, like kind of the starting point, and then it gives you the suggestions, right? That, what could be the first thing that you should do. So this is one of the sitemap. Definitely, I can keep generating using different type of large language models as well. So for this, I selected Sonnet. So now it gave me a little differently. So this is how sort of you can create content and brainstorm with your ideas. And, for this particular example, I've just started with a sitemap, right? I can ask Jeda.ai to even select this entire area and ask that extend this diagram. I can, transform it into different type of output. So let's start with a wireframe. So I'm going to duplicate my prompt and say, I'll just say wellness and grooming for pet website homepage. All right, I'm going to start with a wireframe. All right, so it just created a wireframe for me. Of course, for marketing, website is your first thing to kind of like think of, starting from creating different type of strategies, also different type of elements like sitemaps, wireframes, and this sort of my starting point. That it gave me a homepage with some content, some ideas. It was pretty fast, and a form. It's a perfect web. The first time, I probably got a perfect output here. So this is your wireframe. Of course, you guys are familiar with wireframe, right? You can design some wireframe, ask your designer to come up with a wireframe. But here, you don't need to be a designer. You can also, ask AI, Jeda.ai, to create, some concept design for you. Okay, so now I want to, mock it up. I'm not going to use Sketch or Figma. Maybe that's something for my designer. But if I want to create some mock-up concept, I can ask. This is something we call AI alchemy. So you select an area, click the AI icon here, and ask something, right? Give me a mock-up concept for this. And then we're using definitely multimodal for this. This is supported GPT-4 Vision, HiQ, and Sonnet. So let me start with HiQ. All right. So it gave me a concept, right? It's not a perfectly designed, but it's sort of your starting point to ideate on different type of layouts and design. After this, you can definitely give your designer to create a perfect mock and different versions for you. So that's sort of sort of the workflow, right? You can from starting point, from different type of strategies. You can use analysis for creating different type of diagrams, sitemaps. You can use this command mind map. We have wireframe, sticky notes. I'm not gonna jump into that, but definitely, since this is visual canvas, if you're writing on your blog post or your content like newsletters, this is collaborative. This is also you saw the workflow that you can copy, duplicate, and put it all together into the canvas. So of course, I use Jeda.ai to create my own content. So that's sort of the starting, right? And I can give you more examples. So here you saw a wireframe. I can create my visual input, and it will try to detect what is sort of the vision of me. So you can be an artist. You don't need to be an artist, but you can be an artist on Jeda.ai. In this example, I'm going to try to draw a cat. It's not going to be a perfect cat. It's a quick drawing. Don't judge my inner creativity. But what it can do for me, so it will, I can say, make it realistic. And in this example, I will select vision. So while it's generating that, it's trying to figure out what is the object and how I did that. I'll show you some of the examples that I created earlier. Oh, okay. It made it surreal. Okay. It probably thought that this is the other part, but you can see that it kind of interpreted my vision, even though it's not exactly what I wanted. And earlier, I created some of the example for you guys to kind of show that, how you can definitely drag and drop different type of icons from here, sticky notes icons, and kind of transform it to a different type of illustrations. So this is where I asked to create different type of mocks. It kind of gave me the mocks for, mobile phone. This is sort of an example of I wanted to convert this illustration into an art. So it transformed it to, this sort of visuals. Another interesting part is you can also on Jeda AI Alchemy, you can ask your designer to give a design. So in this example, let's say I'm gonna copy and paste this mock and paste it on Jeda AI, right? And then I can ask, give me UX feedback for improvement. I'll select HiQ, analyze this. So as you can see, this is a mock-up. The mock is a profile picture of someone, Emily Smock, okay? And then it gave me a feedback, right? You can keep asking UX feedback, but it looked at the image and then gave me a relevant feedback for you. So here, allow user to upload a profile picture and provide options to edit or change group related information, marital status, blah, blah, blah. So it's giving me suggestions where I can improve, right? And it looked at the design and gave me precise output. You can definitely ask all sort of things like, your marketing assets, ad banner. You can ask why we can improve and how we can improve. So that's sort of the fun part of it. And it gets more interesting once I drag and drop some data, right? For example, I'm gonna drag and drop, let's say Microsoft Clarity. So let's work on this one. So this is a CSV file. You can definitely download your CSV files from Google Analytics, Microsoft Clarity, or other sources. What it does, these are all raw data that you can see here, and you don't know typically what you can do from those data, right? So I'm gonna ask Jeda AI to give me a visual analytics on this data. For this particular example, I'm gonna say overview analysis. So now what it's doing is looking at the CSV that I have provided here, right? And then I have, ask a prompt, and within a few seconds, it gives you data analytics, right? So you can see it's not just, creating your creative content, but also for different type of analysis. And these are all interactive, right? This is interactive. These are free form. You can definitely do many things, change the type of diagrams. Go back to bar chart. And then you can, doodle on top of it. You can definitely collaborate. One of the fun part is it's also predictive. It's also giving you recommendations. So let's say if I ask where I can improve. Now that's a very generic question, right? Like it's Microsoft Clarity data. I'm asking where I can improve. So let's see what it does. Okay, let me ask it again. All right, so as you can see, it generated me a data point, but also it's doing a reanalysis, and it's going to give me a recommendation. Again, it's live, so I don't know whether it's going to come out with 2 cats. So it gave me a very generic recommendation, but I have done things like it will ask me, hey, if it's your marketing campaign, it will ask me, put more budget on this campaign or target this type of audience from your data. So it can, generate data-driven analytics. And it could be not just marketing. For sales, you can ask it to where I can improve or how I can improve. We have few things auto prompting. So based on your data structure, it gives you some suggestions, right? So I select from here instead of typing. I can also load more from some of the analytics that it suggested me. So that is sort of the one of the powerful component of Jeda.ai. That's it's a free-form data analytics. It's giving you predictive analytics as well as suggestions, recommendation. And this is a KPI that I asked. It gave me a KPI. So it's just repeating the same number. All right. We have so much things baked in. Even like document GPT, you can create content from any document, PDF, PowerPoint, and all of those. You can create different type of outputs from the document. And I think we're about time. So I will stop here. Of course, it's I've been doing we launched this product. The MVP was launched last year around April, and we saw the transitions between different models. Of course, like GPT-4 was not there, 3.5 was not there. We only had DaVinci, right? So every time we do an upgrade, you got to definitely test whether it's responding. This is definitely very difficult for us to create the algorithm that it's not hallucinating. It's the way I'm asking the synthetic data from the large language model. It's giving me exactly the way I want it. And then we build some of the IPs, starting from generating synthetic data, and we've been testing multiple models. So every time we do, we need to, of course, test. I was not sure initially about introducing Anthropic, but then we had to make it work. So it's all about playing with different large language models for us specifically, because it's not just giving me text. It's giving me very structured data, and you saw how complex even the data analytics, right? How we're creating the mechanism behind the scene, how it's gonna do real time queries and create the visuals for you. So yeah, I don't know whether that answered your question, but that requires test and more development. I would say we're focused into different areas, right? For creativity and for different type of analytics. For analytics, I find Anthropic is definitely, it is, fast as well as, very precise. But for creativity, I would say definitely OpenAI GPT-4 3.5 as well. And, I find a very good balance. Of course, it also depends on we do dynamic prompting, right? So this is you don't need to do or write any prompting. You can just ask a question. For example, if I say SWOT analysis and click this dynamic prompt, it will guide you, ask you questions to kind of fill up the context. So as you can see, I asked SWOT analysis. It gave me what is the context of the SWOT analysis? What is different type of questions, like what is the product, what is the opportunity? So kind of guide you through your prompt, so you don't need to do prompt engineering. But going back to the original question is, I would say, I'm not sure whether GPT-5 is coming anytime soon, or how Sam Altman is giving it to us. But I'm definitely optimistic about the next version. But yeah, both in a way.